Hello and welcome to the BC Alumni Podcast. I'm Bethan from the alumni team, and in each episode we welcome a different member of the alumni community back onto campus to tell us all about what they've been up to since they graduated from BCU. Today we're joined by Sophie Marie, the founder of Black Owned Birmingham. Sophie studied management and entrepreneurship here at BCU and has since founded Black Owned Birmingham, which is a business support initiative which supports black owned businesses here in Birmingham. Sophie has grown the community to over 50,000 members. She provides vision, leadership, direction and support for all areas of the organisation, including local and national programmes, holiday workshops, online resources, guest teachers, retreats and social events with an emphasis all on diversity. She's also developed strong community partnerships for both practical and financial support. In 2021, she was a finalist in the Social Activist of the Year category at the Multicultural Business and Community Champion Awards, as well as a finalist for Community Activist of the Year at the Birmingham Awards. So in this episode, we're really keen to find out what goes into setting up an organisation, as well as finding out more about what Black Owned Birmingham is and how people can get involved. So Sophie, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast today. So what is it like to be back on campus? When was the last time you were here, and did you feel nostalgic?
Yeah, so the last time I was on campus was literally graduation day, which was 27th of July 2018. Took some pictures up at Symphony Hall, then came down, took some pictures here.
Oh, nice.
So it's crazy, everything's changed as well.
Yeah.
Even just where the barriers are, it's slightly different. And I was over in the library and I was like, that used to be my room. I used to just always be in this one study room. And now it's like a little group room, and I'm like, oh, that was my solo room. Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, good. Okay, so on to Black Owned Birmingham then. Mm-hmm. So I guess, can you remember the moment when you first thought of setting it up, and what is the story really behind it?
Yeah, so I started it during lockdown on the 6th of June 2020. So this was a couple of days after the whole George Floyd and everything that was happening. Then it was basically just like a social awakening. But what really was getting to me was before that I was a business consultant, and I've just been doing business consultancy quite a lot. And a lot of the companies that I was working for were putting out all these bold statements we stand with diversity and all these kind of things. And most of the time when I step into those rooms, I am the only black female in that room. So when I'm seeing these same companies saying, we're all about diversity and our team's so diverse, and then they're constantly using my picture when I'm only brought in as a consultant, it was kind of time for me to be like, stop using my picture. This is not the case. And I remember being on LinkedIn at the time, actually, and there was about I was going down and counting the amount of companies that were coming out and making their bold statements, and there was 5 companies that I'd personally worked with that I knew basically weren't doing anything. It was just all for social media. And then I spoke to other people that do the kind of consultancy and the stuff like I do, business analysis and strategy and stuff, and they was all saying the same thing. But I was like, well, why are we all in a WhatsApp group talking about this? Let's say something. But then none of us was actually brave enough to be like, hey, you company number 1, you're doing this, So I was like, we need to find a way that we can help our community, because I know there's more people out there. And then I jumped on Facebook, and there was a group at the time called Black Owned Economy, and that was kind of going quite wild. I actually didn't know it was UK based. I thought it was American based. Right. And I thought, well, we need something like this. But I thought, I'm a very analytical person, so I'm like, there's no point me trying to take on the whole of the UK when I'm born and bred in Birmingham. So let me try and see what I can do for our community. And then this was actually on the 5th of June. So I was having this conversation with my best friend, and she was just like, just do it. You want to do it? And all day, this is the 4th of June, all day on the 5th of June, I'm like, what am I going to call it? Am I going to do it? Oh, what if people judge me? And basically I just woke up on the 6th of June, which was actually 2 days later, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw myself in it and do it. And me, of course, with my business background, I'm always you need to plan, you need to prepare kind of person. So I didn't do any of that. I jumped on Facebook. I made a Facebook group. I named it Black Owned Birmingham, and I literally put in the little slogan part. I was like, this group is for black owned businesses and people that want to support them, and just press send. And then I sent it to my friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. She's like, you did what? In that conversation, so I made the group maybe about 8:30, 9 in the morning. In the conversation, talking to my friend, got off the phone maybe about 11:30, jumped back on Facebook. We was already on 2,000 people.
Oh my God.
I hadn't shared it. I just literally just made the group. And I think because of the time that we was in, it gained the traction. So I didn't even know it jumped so quick. And then basically from that moment, it just carried on spiraling.
Okay. I mean, you said that you're Birmingham born and bred.
Yeah.
And you did 3 degrees here.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Which ones did you do then?
So I did my foundation degree in professional administration.
Okay.
Then I did my BA in business administration at the top up. And then I did my master's degree in management and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it must be really nice then to kind of do something that brings people in your city together then.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially just my community as well. Like I said, so the conversation we was having prior to that was there's no one that's kind of like us that's saying anything about helping or supporting these black businesses. And I was basically in a position where I could help and support these black businesses. I, do consultancy for major businesses. I do, like business analysis, data, all of that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, the black businesses in Birmingham, I didn't realise there was so much, maybe just throw that out there, they didn't have support. So the support that we kind of offer them and give them, it's tenfold anything I've ever done in my whole entire life. Like I quit. Obviously, it was lockdown, so everyone was like furlough and stuff, but I was still working. I was a project manager at the time, so I still worked all through lockdown in London and Leeds. And I just basically wasn't happy. I was like, I'm, doing the black-owned Birmingham stuff on the side, and I want to take it on full throttle. And long story short, I quit, and since then I've been a lot happier.
So how is it supporting businesses across the city then?
Truth be told, it's really hard, but it's so fulfilling at the end of it. So it makes it all worthwhile. It's like when you're getting a degree, you're struggling at the beginning, and why am I doing this? But then when you have that certificate, it's worthwhile. I'm lucky enough to have a big gob, so I kind of throw some stuff on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and it kind of gets traction where I can connect with not just people in my community, but people in other communities that want to support my community, but they just didn't know how. They didn't even know we existed. They didn't know how to kind of tap into that network, and that, my mouth as well as just being able to type a few things is what's been able to get me into certain places. Okay,
so obviously a community of over 50,000 members, that's huge.
I know.
So what has really gone into kind of like growing that community then? And I imagine it's very busy kind of obviously behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. So our Facebook group is 21,000. And then across all of our social media, and especially like our email list and stuff, is how we get to 50,000.
Yeah.
We've got our membership, which, we have to kind of close and open at certain times for our paid membership because literally it gets kind of flooded.
Yeah.
And then with the paid membership is basically where we help start-up and grassroots companies, black-owned or even minority ethnic owned. And basically just in the very basic. So some companies have been, up and running for 10 years and they don't have a business plan, or they've never did a forecast or stuff like that. So it's kind of just taking people back to the roots and kind of helping them get the foundation put in place. It's like they've already got the house but it's wobbling, so we have to go in and put the foundation in. So we've got like our online membership where we do our courses and stuff like that, which is, it takes up majority of my day because it's me that, I don't want to say teachers because I'm not a teacher, but it's me that kind of facilitates these courses and stuff like that. And then we also have our own awards as well, the Black Owned Birmingham Awards, which is absolutely amazing. But again, it's my baby. So I kind of, I need to be able to delegate, but I can't because I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so worthwhile. And I just want to feel every moment of it, whether it's stress or tears. So that's a lot. And then we have like our marketplace events where people come and sell their items and stuff like that. And again, it's like another baby. Like I've got 3 daughters, but then I've got like a 4th, 5th, 6th daughter because I just really love it. So it is stressful and it's a lot, but it's definitely worthwhile.
Okay, so in terms of, obviously you mentioned workshops, events, resources. So kind of what actually goes into them? Like what is it that people are actually offered?
So it depends on what point they're at in their business. So for example, if it's like someone that's pre-seed or pre-startup, we basically offer them everything. So from a business plan, walking them through that, how to create pitch decks, media decks, basically walking them through the day in their life, because a lot of companies haven't just thought like what a day in their life is as a business owner. What do I need to do? It's kind of like, especially if their product is something that they're making with their hands, you know, of course that's great when they're doing like small batches, but you know, if you get a call from Sainsbury's saying they want 150,000, how are you going to be able to provide that? So it's kind of not only having the conversations with them and kind of putting their mindset into a business mindset, but then also the growth element as well is like a really big part of it. And then we do like kind of one-to-ones, mentorings and coaching and stuff like that, just to kind of help them get from A to B, but the A to B is determined by them. So they could already, like I said, already have a business, and they want to see growth. So, you know, their B would be growth. So we kind of tailor their packages to that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I guess then how can people like get involved and become a member?
The best place for, well, where the majority of the engagement is Facebook. Right. And I know that sounds so crazy saying that in 2023, but Facebook is, of course, we have all the other platforms. We have TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff, but where the engagement is more wholesome is Facebook. Right. Especially when it comes to the small businesses that are also providing a service. So we have a lot of people that, you know, just jump in and say, hey, I need a gardener. Then you'll have a gardener who, you know, he's been working for 10 years, he's amazing at what he does, but you know, he doesn't even have a flyer. But he'll be able to put in there, hey, I'm a gardener, this is what I do, here's some pictures of my work, and just like that he's got a client, and hopefully a lifelong client. So Facebook is our baby.
Okay. So I guess then what was it that you initially kind of set out to achieve then with Black Owned Birmingham? And would you say that you're like on track with it?
I originally set out just to support. That was all I wanted to do, just to help. Like, hey, I know there's smaller businesses that can do things that I can't do, and now these companies are saying they want to help us. I can kind of be the middle person. But then that just wasn't the case because, you know, I'm a bit of a weirdo, so I kind of take over and I'm like, I want to help more, more. So yeah, to answer your question about am I on track, I would say yes. However, personally, I always move my goalposts anyway. Yeah. So I'll always be, you know, chasing the end of it, and the aim of what I'm doing is kind of to help 95, even 100% of the black businesses in Birmingham, and that can be from something very small or from something very big. But not only just the businesses, but the entrepreneurs as well, and even the people that just want to support. Like I want to cover it all. Yeah. But I understand I'm only one person, and I've only been in this for 3 years. Yeah. But yeah, that's my aim, to at least, like if you look at my business plan now, you'll see 75% of black owned businesses within the next 5 years. I want to have at least had a conversation with the owner and kind of see where we can help and where we can support, because a lot of our services are free, which a lot of people don't. They think, oh, I gotta pay for this, I gotta pay thousands, but a lot of our services are actually free. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess how are you also hoping to continue growing it in the future? Obviously you said that it's just you. Mm-hmm. So what do you kind of have planned for, I don't know, maybe the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so I do have a team, and the team kind of help with the content side of it. Right. And I do also have volunteers as well who help with the Facebook group and stuff, because you get 400-500 requests every single day. Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy. But ultimately I do, you know, I started this by saying, oh, I can't help the whole of the UK. But I have tapped into other cities already. Right. And, you know, I do want to help the whole of the UK.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. I know that, you know, it's not realistic for me to say 75% of the whole of the UK black businesses have to come through us. However, I do want to be able to tap into their networks and kind of tap into them that way. So there's like maybe a 3rd or 4th degree where we can all connect. I do a lot of work in London at the moment, which has their own Black-owned London and their own community of all the stuff that they do. Right. And it's just amazing, because you'd know if you go to certain areas, you'd know if you've had certain conversations with people, but just on a overall, looking on social media and stuff like that, you just don't know. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you existed. Yeah. And then the second that I say that, my next thing is, so how can I help? Yeah. And yeah, the answer that I always get back is normally always financial. They need financial support and stuff like that. But again, they'll say the same thing. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know you guys existed. So I do want to focus more on expanding outside of it's Birmingham, but surrounding areas, the West Midlands. Yeah. But growing outside of the West Midlands, and then also providing support, even if it's long distance support, like London or even Scotland. Like, okay. You know.
Okay. And so obviously a lot of hard work has gone into your organisation over the last few years then. So what are some of the, I guess, like biggest lessons that you've learnt so far?
Delegate. I know I'm contradicting myself now because I can't delegate for anything.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person where, you know, when it came to my degree, it came to my dissertation 2 weeks before when I was starting it. You know, kind of like, I say I don't like pressure and all that kind of stuff, but I excel that way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some things are just bigger than me, and I need to learn to delegate. And, you know, when there's a saying I always say to like my sisters, I come from a big family, so my sisters always help me. I always say to my sisters, like, you know, if you see me moaning and sending like long voice notes over and over again over the same problem, that's when I need help. It's just, I can't ask for it, so you need to just kind of offer it. But my sister, you know, I'm 3 years in this now, so my sisters, they already know. They'll pop me up and be like, okay, so what do you need? And my best friends as well, like, okay, so what do you need? How can we help? So yeah, delegate is it's on my bucket list for this year to kind of master.
To master.
Yeah.
So I guess what more do you think needs to be done then to support Black-owned businesses, not just here in Brum, but also like the wider UK, like you said?
I would say the same as they were in 2020, all these organisations, it needs to be the same now.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone quiet. That's unfortunately a very big problem that the Black community has had. In 2020, in lockdown, we had a lot more support, and allyship is something that we have to rely on heavily, unfortunately. And stepping into the end of 2022, 2023, everything kind of just went silent. And just every now and then, Black History Month, it will kind of pop up again. But I think the main thing now is support. We need support from every angle, not just financial, but even like mentors, even like, you know, just opening the doors for people that wouldn't normally have the doors open for them. Do you know what I mean? Saying that Black people say I have to kick down the door to get in, and it's like, well, why? When someone's there to open the door for you.
So can you tell me your 3 top Black-owned businesses in Birmingham then?
Oh, okay.
If you have a top 3.
I don't have a top 3, but I would say Legacy Centre of Excellence. For event space, because that is like the largest Black-owned event space in Europe. So that is definitely within there. So this is in no particular order. That is definitely within there. I also want to have a food one in there. So foods, these are like a 3-joint one. So we've got Dane's Catering, so that's like a catering. And then we've also got Mellows, which is the back of Broad Street, amazing food. And there was also our winner as well. And then we've got Adian's Dining. So they're like 3 joint. If anyone asks me, like, where should I go for food, it's between those 3. So that's a food top 3. Oh, and I'll do a charity one. And for that, I'm going to throw in First Class Foundation, because they are absolutely amazing. Like, what they do, the work they do is phenomenal. So, yeah. It's not like a top 3, but it's 3 categories of businesses. So, yeah.
Okay. So this is something we like to do in each episode, a Birmingham quickfire round. As you said, you are Birmingham born and bred, so you know it well. What is your, I guess, like favourite spot on the BCU campus then? Was there anywhere like when you studied here that you're like, I just love it in there? Like,
it's going to sound so weird, but in the library, there's like a study room.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that was just my room. Like, anytime like I went to go in there or like book it and someone was in there, it was just like I couldn't even focus anywhere else. Like, that was my room. And it's so weird to say that a space in the library is your space. But
no, I get that.
Yeah, it was my home away from home.
Snobs or Pop World?
Snobs. Snobs, yes.
Blues or Villa?
Villa. That's where we have our awards every year. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, Aston Villa Football Club. Villa.
Would you rather go to Broad Street or Digbeth?
Oh, Broad Street. Definitely Broad Street, yeah.
And what is your, I guess, like favourite like Brummie, like landmark?
Cliche, but the Bull. I love the Bull.
Yeah.
Everything about the Bull, when they get it changed, when they put the little snow on it, the Christmas, I love it. I tell you, if you go down my phone now, you see all the different pictures of me at the Bull. I'm a tourist. Like, I love it. So, yeah.
And what is your like best Brummie like slang word?
In it.
Yeah,
in it. I say it a lot, and I say a lot as well, which I didn't realise.
I do as well.
Yeah, non-Brummies, they were like, you say a lot. I'm like, no, I don't. And then I have to catch myself. So, yeah, in it.
So you've been selected as one of our barrier breakers at this year's Alumni Festival. So what does that mean to you then?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because I've did 3 degrees here and I've never thought that I'd be part, although I'm technically a part of the alumni, but never like part of anything facial wise alumni. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when I used to come uni here and I'd see alumni and see them and I'd be like, oh, you're so amazing. You did all of this. And then now people are saying that to me and I'm like, no, I'm still 24 doing my degree, even though I'm not. I'm 32. So yeah, it means a lot to me. Like I'm going to put it on my LinkedIn profile.
And final question then, if you could go back to your very first day here at BCU, so right back, you know, I guess the first day even of your like foundation degree,
2012.
what is the like one piece of advice that you'd give yourself?
Truth be told, walk in that room. I was late and I didn't go into my class. I stood outside and I watched everyone and I was like, I'm not going in because I didn't want to be late. So that was my actual very first day. I didn't go in. I stayed outside until the lecture was over and then I spoke to the teacher afterwards. And she was lovely. Not teacher, oh my gosh. She was lovely. She was literally like, well, you know, you got to be back here tomorrow at 9. So then the next day I just walked straight in. I was actually really early. I was the first one in the class. But I was really lucky because I had a really, like every single degree that I've had, I've loved. All my training and stuff I've loved just based on the tutors here. Like absolutely amazing. And she was lovely. She was like, she kept coming to check on me and just be like, you know, are you sure you're okay? Do you want a drink? And I was like, you can drink here in class? Like it was such a like culture shock from what I was used to. But yeah, I'd say to myself, just go in because I think I probably would have enjoyed it more, not being so scared for the next day. And just grab, it's going to sound so brummy and cliche, but, you know, grab the bull by its horns and go and get it. But yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, thanks so much for popping by
Thank
today.
you.
So, coming on to the podcast. We'll come back to see you again very soon.
I'm excited.